And off you go.
Thank you very much for a nice presentation. And today, actually, usually when I'm coming to EPJ, I present our Städteroots activities. But today we have bigger group, and we'll tell you more about our institution and place of our activities in Lublin, say culture environment in general. Basic thing, we are called the Grodzka Gate and Theater Center in Lublin, and we are municipal culture institution. We are, our main aim is to work with culture, heritage and education in Lublin, and it happened that main field of our activities is Jewish heritage. However, at the moment we have under control 4 places. One is Grodzka Gate, I will tell more after, but another one is underground tourist route under the old town of Lublin, and special department of this Fortune Cave, let's say, with its Renaissance 16th century frescoes in those caves as a separate department. And we also are responsible for a place called Dom Słów, House of Word, which is kind of old printing house, and we work there with literacy, literature, and printing history, including also Jewish history of printing in Lublin, which is important part of Lublin heritage. We are also responsible for a memory trail. It's a memory trail connected to victims of Holocaust from Lublin. It connects places connected to the history of the ghetto in Lublin, and also so-called Umschlagplatz, place from most of Lublin Jews were sent to the Bełżec death camp and murdered. But today we'll tell you mostly about Grodzka Gate, our main venue. Grodzka Gate, or Brama Grodzka in Polish, it's medieval city gate. Medieval city gate, which since the beginning, actually, at least since 14th century, it was on dividing line between, which was a Christian town and Jewish town. In the middle you can see here the castle, and all those buildings around the castle, it's a medieval Jewish quarter, so-called podzamcze in Polish, under the castle quarter. This big building here is a synagogue, Maharshal synagogue, the main synagogue of Lublin. Also, it was one of the biggest synagogues in Central Europe in general. It was 4,000 people could come and pray in this building one moment. And and our gate, you see this red arrow, we are there. This is a Grodzka Gate, and on the left we have old Christian town. And such a situation we had till 1942, and now we have situation like that. You see the old Christian town still exists, but around the castle, this is emptiness. All people who lived here, or almost all people who lived here, were murdered. But also buildings, streets, synagogues, all this material heritage was destroyed. We have this empty space around the castle. We have a bus station here. We have a parking lot. It's completely different space. And although there is a small Jewish community in Lublin still, but this is was if before the war was 43,000, now it's less than 100 members of community. So it's 1,000 times smaller. And actually, people in Lublin forgot about this, and our mission is to bring memory about, you see, the view from our place, from Grodzka Gate, toward the castle, before 1942 and after 1942. You see the difference, I will not explain it. And the stories of Jewish heritage of Lublin is a really huge story, with many informations. in 16th century, as it was the like crossing point between two capitals of the state, like Krakow of Poland and Vilnius for Lithuania. It was like Commonwealth, and we were exactly in the middle. So it was like very convenient place to live and develop. And for example, we were seat of Vatarba Aracot, which was kind of autonomous parliament for Jewish communities from whole state. And like a lot of prestigious rabbis lived in Lublin. We have actually the oldest Jewish cemetery, oldest preserved Jewish cemeteries with graves, such rabbis like Shlomo Luria or Shalom Shachna in Old Cemetery. In 19th century, that was a strong seat of Hasidism, with one of founders of Hasidism who is called Sir of Lublin, or even Lublin sometimes in Hebrew. And in 20th century, it was a big rabbinical school called Yeshivat Chachmei Lublin. The building still exists actually, and there is also like synagogue at the moment. And Chachmei Lublin means like wise men of Lublin, which means like they tried to make a symbolic connections with these 16th century great rabbis and scholars. But also like Itzhak Peretz house or Yaakov Gladstein is like completely secular movement and art and poetry. And we have also the book Magician of Lublin by Isaac Bashevis Singer, who was not from Lublin, but he wrote a beautiful book about Lublin, and he got a Nobel Prize. He's the only Yiddish writer who got a Nobel Prize for his art, and actually probably the best book of him is Magician of Lublin. So here we have like kind of monument, flying monument of Magician of Lublin. And so this is like very important part of Jewish culture in Poland and Central Eastern Europe. And you see, this is like the Poland or the Central Eastern Europe was actually the most important center of Jewish culture before the war in the world. So in our activities, we have like key words we are trying to use. One is memory. Most of our work is connected to memory, memory of the city of Lublin, memory of Jewish people who lived here, place. We focus very much on locality, on the meanings of locality, on connection with the special places, and how rare those informations we can find on the places, and the presence, contemporary time, what actually heritage, what the past means for us today, what can we do for the future, for the future generations with this heritage. And we have three main fields of our activities. One is documentation. So, for example, we gathered quite a big collection of photos, like more than 7,000 digitized already photos from Jewish Lublin, but also from the region. And we are part of Europeana digital library. For example, like few years ago, or 10 years ago, one of our colleague who is like supervisor in this monument reconstruction, he found a collection of like 2,500 glass negatives, and it was hidden during the ghetto time. This is almost only portraits. You can imagine like 2,000 portraits, like taken between like 1915 or 1940. It's amazing collection. Most of them we don't know who was of them, but some cases yes. Oral history, so we are collecting memories, testimonies. At the beginning we collected about like Jewish life of Lublin in old people from old people who are living in Lublin, or Jewish people who were born in Lublin and they are in many countries around. But also we are collecting stories about like cultural life of Lublin in general, about theaters, about social issues. So this is different topic we cover. But the core of this collection is still like Jewish memory of Lublin. Another, we are theater, and we started as a theater, and so art is a very important part of our activity. And this is what Agnieszka will tell you more.
Yes. Of course, the name of our institution, Grodzka Gate NN Theatre Center, as Emil said, really points to its theatrical origins. We really start as a NN theater, alternative theater, who moved in early 90s into the Grodzka Gate. But it quickly turns out that the language of the theater, confronted with the tragical, with the dramatical story of the Grodzka Gate and its surroundings, it's really too overwhelmed and too commonplace. And really this situation forced us to seek a new form of our expression as well for the institution and for the activities. We have to find out how the new institution should live, how should it work, what kind of program should it have. And as Emil really underlined, the memory was the most significant word to emphasize, yes? And that was the reason to create the theater of memory, because we started to treat the surroundings of Brama as a theatrical stage. Because you see empty places, yes? There is no Jewish quarter, there is no streets, there is no buildings, but the memory and the fundaments are still there under the ground, yes? And what we are doing, it's the sort of theater mystery, yes? We are performing theater in the city area. Why do we put like theater into the public space? And I just want to only say there's several reasons. The first of all, it's because it has significant meaning for this place, yes, the memory, for this area of Grodzka Gate. Second of all, in many times we're using this space as an artistic performance, and the part of the performance is as the participants are righteous among the nations, are Holocaust survivors, not only people, also the citizens of Lublin. And the third of all, we are trying to make really emotion and connection with the audience of the mysteries and the past of the surroundings, yes, what happens in the past. And you see the picture in the middle. And imagine you're standing in the middle of the town. Exactly, it's a castle square. It's just the middle of the town. Imagine like you standing in Plaza Catalunya in Barcelona. And suddenly the lights are turned off and you're standing in the total darkness. You see nothing. And slowly, slowly, from the manholes in the ground, the light begins to emerge. Very, very slowly, and then the graduity is going up, almost the sunlight. And you're standing like this, and after 1 or 3 minutes, you can hear sound. You don't know what the sound is, but you recognize it's a voice. You hear voices of the witnesses. You hear the stories from all our history project we present. You hear the voices of the former inhabitants of the Jewish town. So this is, I would like to explain like because we're really working in a different level, you know, you show us your activities. We are working with the emptiness. We have to bring back the memory. And this is our new language to, we discovered the language to perform, to make the connection with the past. And also, we also call it everything. We have a standing exhibition in the Grodzka Gate. We all welcome to visit. We're making a theatralization of the exhibition, yes? We have this memory lamp. It's actually the one original lamp, the leftovers from the Jewish quarter. It still exists, only one lamp. And the light, it's still on. All the time, 24 hours a day, the whole year. We do publication. As I told you, I'm leading the department, the publishing department. We bring some books as a gift for you, so...
Yeah, some of you will get a book. I will tell it later. There's 15 minutes already, so very quickly. We do education. We do not talk a lot about the education today. There is Dominika, which is a part of education desk. She can explain you after details about how we work. We work with schools, we work with universities. We do a lot of online activities. Except of Stetrus, I am member of like new media lab. So we are trying to use this internet, new media techniques to tell the story of Lublin and Jewish Lublin also. So for example, we produced several digital models, 3D models of whole Lublin, but also those non-existing places. So you can visit them using some tools or using your mobile. With augmented reality, you can visit those places and you can find our databases, like about people, about places, about addresses, about photos. So with different kind of interfaces, we are trying to tell this story. Also for Stetrus, we built several models of small town with like small synagogues and different urban structure. We produce small videos, we use maps. This is like big part of our activities. This is online. Which also, it was quite, there was some publications in Poland about that we actually were prepared for this pandemic situation because we have big part of our offer in online, like virtual tool. We had prepared before the pandemic, so we have it ready already. So this is what we do. Musisz dać Januszowi mikrofon. And also, we are kind of, tourist attraction actually. People are coming to us. We have exhibitions. So we have this road also.
This is actually the model on the picture of the Lublin.
Old Lublin, yeah. Both these existing and non-existing parts. So people can come to us and see how it looked like. Yeah, this is like exhibition. I will give you after like short, small booklets about the exhibition. And Janusz will tell you more.
Let me say a few words. Having four places, we realized the necessity of possessing a real visitor center, just to coordinate in a proper way, using, of course, new tools like internet, like digital storytelling. But I must confess, there is serious discuss still goes on in our organization about our tourist info point, because we have a problem with how to create a serious competitive offer. I mean tourist attraction, actually out of a mainstream, and not losing our DNA, which is based on symbols, as you could notice already. We have actually nothing. We play with symbols. We play with really a very high level of knowledge, because we cooperate with academic society, with actually the best educated people in our region, and we should create a touristic offer and be open to the wide public, let's say. But at the same moment, we do really know that it is not for everybody. And we have a kind of expression in Polish language that education has potential to, that traveling has potential to educate. But on the other hand, we know that this potential works only with educated people, not with everybody. So our info point has been working already for 2 weeks. So I'm new person. I have no ready answer, and I don't know what we gonna do. But we still talk about it, and I hope you one day you will come and see the final results of our discussion. And you can see at the first photo there is my colleague Agata. She is sitting in front of a computer, and behind her there is a great selection of our books. Agnieszka is responsible for for publishing those books, and they are not ordinary books from mainstream. Yes, all books are about something very specific, connected with our place, with Lublin, with our region, and it is interesting also for people from academic society. And they do really like to come to us, and our information point should be a place very familiar to such people. If you want to spend 30, 50 minutes, 2 hours with us, we can offer you perfect quality of coffee together with nice storytelling and with access to actually to the whole knowledge we have already collected through the years. So that's the point, that's the main idea of our info point. Lubliner reunion, this is also, for me, speaking frankly, this is my private point of view. In my opinion, this is absolutely amazing idea to give an opportunity to Lubliners, so people who are connected in some way with Lublin, people from all over the world, Jewish communities spread out all over the world can come and meet with us, and also can exchange some feelings among themselves. And such a reunion took place 4 years ago, and another one is going to be organized in 2 years. And believe me, many friendships were made, real friendships, and people are really in touch. And we have a kind of regular procedure. Te rozmowy. Brahma talks, gate talks, and I visited my friends twice already in Israel, and I know, and my friends also have been visited by people from Israel, and we started to talk seriously, but you know. Why it is so important? We are not going to justify the past, and this is out of discussion that Polish soil were desecrated. Desecration of Polish soil occurred, and we must talk about it as inhabitants of Lublin, as a Poles. And the only way to do it is to have relations with people from Jewish communities. And for them, I'm sure it is also very, very important. So this is absolutely the highest level of communication, to talk privately about the most tragic, tough subjects.
This is also kind of networking tool, actually. We have these webinars, these Brahma talks, and really, it's like we have people all around the world, somehow family connected with Lublin, and sometimes they can present their own experience, and sometimes we present something, and this is really interest, like, you know, hundreds of people sometimes coming for these webinars. So this is kind of amazing networking tool. And sometimes you can find, because, for example, the producer of Monty Python and Sant Graal was from Lublin, you know. So sometimes we get such a connections. Okay, almost last thing I would like to present you is the Stadtroots. This is what I do in big part of my time, and that's why we became actually a EPJ member. Like with this project, we started this 2013. It was kind of like trans-border cooperation program, which the idea of selection of like choosing the most interesting small towns from the region. We have this like Yiddish culture phenomenon here, and this small town with like Jews and Poles, Ukrainians, Belarusians, Lithuanians living together. Mostly abandoned, mostly with no Jewish communities living there at the moment. But anyway, we tried to choose 60 such places and create some kind of network between them. So we did the trainings for the tour guides, we published a book, we have a website, a map, such a idea, and we're trying to, the project is finished already as a project, but we are trying to continue this as a program, as a culture route, exactly. So this is, I can tell you more after. And last point, because we told you that we will talk about like our place in Lublin and kind of culture management of the city. So this is part of the Lublin city development strategy. And actually, we are doing what we are doing. Yeah, this is like what we would like to do. But the city is trying to introduce somehow that we are here in their program. They're paying for our salaries somehow, so it means that it's somehow important for them. And on another hand, we are actually realizing this kind of strategy of Lublin. You would like to add something?
This strategy was prepared actually 10 years ago. It was a concern of a local authority connected with a really great event which took place in 2017. I'm talking about the 700th anniversary of the city of Lublin, and our local authority, our president, decided to create this strategy of cultural development for the city of Lublin, especially to be well prepared for this anniversary. And also, there was a decision to start in a competition for the city of capital city of European culture in 2016. Finally, we didn't win this competition, but we passed through the process of analyzing our potential, our cultural potential as a
It was also an amazing networking tool for institutions, cultural institutions and artists in Lublin, because we had to, meet together and we had common aim. It was really amazing. I was like part of this like team working, and we know each other more or less like from concerts, some exhibitions, but now we had common aim and we had to cooperate. And it was like, how many years ago? Many years ago.
Many years ago.
But still have these contacts, and still this experience was like we became somehow like much more connected, much more, united. So this was really fantastic experience. Although we lost this.
The strategy was based on a report, which was a result of a research undertaken by British government. And the report was called, as I remember, 5 ways to well-being. And of course, it is according to the main trends like citizens should be active, should exchange their feelings, should think about sustainability, and if they do that, they are they can even feel a kind of fulfillment, and it is extremely important for the whole society.
Okay, so last point is we brought some books and booklets from the theater, but we have 3 of them because we thought like we will give it to every road. So you must decide who from you is representing. For everyone, it's a booklet.
We can also organize a kind of lottery. The start price is only 30 euros.
For the ceramics.
Okay.